this is part two. So during the second trial, while Hollywood was under everybody's microscope and people hurling out different opinions, another scandal broke. February 1st, 1922. A chief director in the Paramount Studios, his name was William Desmond. The body was found by his Negro manservant in the morning. Your man, Desmond Taylor, was stuck. His arms were straight out. And they was like, it couldn't have been a robbery because his diamond ring and everything was still on him. Now, it's quoted, they've killed Massa. Now, okay, this is the word he used because it was quoted in the newspaper. So they woke up everybody that was surrounded in, I guess, the court. So I guess it's like a residence or a building or whatever. The first person they called was Mabel Normand. And then he called a general manager for the show. And they called the Paramount super chief, which was Adolph Zukor. And someone called the star of the show is a female star, Mary Miles Minter, but she couldn't be reached. So they left a message with her mother. However, nobody notified the damn police. Business as usual. The police is nobody out here in these streets. So then they had this guy, Charles Eaton. They rushed him over to get rid of the illegal liquor. Because I guess back then the liquor was illegal. Okay, so it's a rule. Before you call the cops, make sure that everything is taken care of and is up on up. They couldn't have a director violating the 18th Amendment. And they knew Hollywood was so sexual because they had somebody run over there and make sure there was no signs of that mess going on. Oh, Hollywood. Now, we going to call this Babylon. This is done. All right, so Mary, who was going to star on the show with the guy, her mother finally reaches her and gives her the news. And they started shouting and just going crazy. And then they said Henry Heavey, the manservant, the black guy, they said Negro, but the black guy, he's like, they've killed Massa. They've killed Massa. They said he was walking up and down the streets in a hysteria. And then the neighbors called the cops. And it's crazy because they called because the guy was walking up and down shouting. And they're like, yo, this crazy dude, please get him off the street. Check this out. They said that they found 2 rounds of a .38 in his heart. And not only that, the police probably could have solved the crime had Zucker and his people not run to clean the house and clear it up because they was wiping down evidence. So when homicide came, they saw a whole bunch of pictures, like nude stuff going on with actresses and, compromising positions and stuff like that. They saw pictures, all kind of hanky-panky pictures going on with a whole bunch of female celebrities and stuff like that. But then he had a big picture from Mary. And she wrote on the inside of it. But they had nothing to solve the case. Mabel, she was one of the first people to get the call. They was asking her, like, now what was going on? Why is everything so clean and stuff like that? And she was like that she was looking for letters that she written to the guy to prevent them being, examined by a whole bunch of people. They later found it. The letters, they were tucked into her writing boots. So as the letter fell to the floor, they looked at it and it was like, what the heck is this? It said, so it was Mary Pickford. She was the one that they couldn't find all day. Mary Miles Minter. That was the one that they couldn't find all day. And they trying to figure out where she at. They had her looking all innocent and stuff like that. They was like, she's the demure of innocence. But in her handwriting, they saw this letter. It said, dearest, I love you. I love you. I love you. It says, yours always, Mary. So Mary was questioned and she was like, yo, we loved each other. That's what it was. Now, oh my gosh, at the funeral, Mary goes off. If this doesn't show that this girl is guilty, I don't know what does. So she goes to the funeral and the corpse is laying there. So she bends over, like she's screaming and yelling. And then she goes to everybody, oh my gosh, the corpse whispered to me. And I heard it say, I shall always love you. Oh, yo, actors and actresses, drama. So they're saying everybody involved, they were real life characters. Like there was so much stuff going on. Get this. The man, sir, his name is Peavy. He liked to crochet dolls and scarves and stuff like that. And and then the butler. So the butler's name was Sands. They couldn't find him. He was missing. But it come to find out he was the younger director's brother. And they even made him dye his hair and stuff like that so you wouldn't even know. The cops wanted to see him because they like, yo, you forged checks. So this dude went on a run. The cops found out that Mary and Mabel both visited this dude in the night. But Mabel was the last one to see him alive. And she was like that he gave her the latest volume of Freud. Now, Sigmund Freud, that's a different story, guy. Yo, there's so many books out here. We about to turn this into a book club for real. But they saying 10 minutes after Mabel left, the neighbor heard weapons firing. But she was like, at the time, I didn't know it was shots. She was like, she looked out the window though. She saw a male. Well, it was dressed like a male walking. But she was like, the way it was walking though, it looked like a woman. And the cap was pulled down tight and everything else. So she saw somebody with a big ass heavy coat on and then a basketball cap tilted down trying to disclose the face. But they was like, even though it was dressed like a man, it was walking smooth like a woman's walk. They saying that it could have been Mary's mother because she might have been jealous. They caught her practicing shooting a couple of days before and she owned a 38. All right, so dig this. They're saying that Taylor was a high-level social figure. He had like a realty business, but then he went to Hollywood and became this director. And next thing you know, he left his wife and kids and he was like, I'm out in 1908. But when he got to Hollywood, he was acting a damn fool. He was sleeping with Mary. He was sleeping with Mabel. And dig this. He was sleeping with Mary's mother. Oh, this scandal is crazy. This scandal is messier and messier. My gosh. So the cops, they found underwear of every person he ever slept with. And then they found laundry that was Mary. And it messed up her image because they wanted you to be this squeaky clean person and stuff like that in Hollywood. So for her to be sitting there sleeping with a whole bunch of people, they was like, nah, it ruined her image. And her career was done. It forced her into early retirement. So now they also found out that Taylor was constantly visiting, they called it the queer clubs, and they would sit around and have a la carte tea carts of drugs with a D, but it was like the heavy kind, the heroin, the opioids, the cola with the first word in it. Now your boy Taylor was getting blackmailed left and right, and he was paying Mabel money to keep quiet also, in the neighborhood about $2,000. And when that came out, Mabel had to take a seat because they realized that she had a horrible habit because she was spending it all on rugs with a D. We're going to call them no goody. So when they found out about the no goodies, they was like, you can't work in Hollywood anymore either because your image is tainted. Yo, her fans was like, nah, you know what? She's not this wholesome girl. We don't want to watch her. We're over her. And they just like disregarded her like she was nothing. And she started gaining weight and stuff like that. 1922 was a rough year because this, mind you, this is going on at the same time as Arbuckle's case is going on. So, yo, folks is pissy with Hollywood. The women's clubs were sitting there at the box office like, nah, we not buying no tickets. Church organizations, they was like, we're boycotting. And anti-vice committees, they all was like taking their money from the theaters. Something had to be done to improve these images. All right, so now they was like, we got to clean Hollywood up. And we need to friends in pretty high places so we can clean stuff up. So, yo, get this. They started putting politicians in places. So they took like $100,000 and they gave it to Will H. Hayes, a member of President Harding's unfortunate cabinet. So he was part of the president's cabinet. So they saying in 1928, they gave him $75,000, which was considered a gift. And then they gave him $185,000 loan to push Harding into the White House because they already can control him and he's in their pocket. So they're like, dude, we want you up in that White House. Ooh, diabolical, guys. This is what really is going on. This is the beginning. Like, we are watching this. Hayes told the Senate committee about 3 different stories of these bribes. They were like, Hayes caused the Republican Party to sell itself. Harding started to try to push money to other people that weren't down with the get down. And they're like, nah, we don't play with this. It was like religious places, and because he was trying to get them to push the film agenda or whatever they wanted pushed. And they told on him, so he had to resign. So he resigned, and guess where he went? New York City. It was like a neutral territory as far as politics went, but it was close to the film financiers. So Hayes, the guy that's been in their pocket for a long time, he's huddled up to Adolf Zucker. Damn, you hear me say his name a lot. And all the other guys. Oh my gosh. If this is wicked. This is so wicked. It's diabolically wicked. They started to come after the kids. They was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make men become monks and women nuns. We're going to make it look so holy, but we're going to go after the kids, and we're not going to do long kisses and stuff like that. That way we can get these kids to trust us, and they grow up with us and they look for us for everything. Oh my gosh, this was systematically planned. So they're like, we're wholesome virgins. That would explain that whole Disney thing. So yeah, Hayes became the police, like he would police the videos and make sure that they were wholesome and good and stuff like that. They developed a whole different program. So they had a whole bunch of private eyes, and they would go release them out into the crowds to get everybody's initial reaction. They would look to see if people were smiling at the movie, how they felt about it. They had detectives using their bag of dirty tricks, bribing people, bribing servants to look in the windows. Yo, they even had listening devices. Oh my God, this is scary. So when they were all said and done, they had a list of 117 Hollywood names deemed unsafe because their lives were no longer private. So they had a book of these people. It's called the Doom Book. The book was shown to Adolf Zucker, the head of Paramount. Paramount is so evil. This is where the Blacklist comes in. It was called a Blacklist. Ooh. Zucker didn't want to use the Blacklist. That's millions of dollars that my company would lose. And the other people, they were looking at him and they was like, we got to get him on board. So to get him on board, they was like, we're going to force his hand. They decided to leak crazy stories, and it was real stories though, of some of his stars in the tabloids. That way he had to let them go. They was insinuating that they were addicted to whatever we said we was going to call it. Y'all know what. They were addicted to that stuff. And then they would be confirmed. Then they would take Wally away in the middle of the night and put him in a private sanitarium in March of 1922. So they went to his wife, who she was unhappy anyway, and they had her sign these damn papers saying to commit him into a rehabilitation center. Get this. Then they said Reed was overworked. And they had the wife sit there and address the public and said, my husband, he's addicted and we are doing all that we can. Meanwhile, this dude was taken away in the middle of the night and locked into a center. Now the whole public was stunned. Oh my God, y'all trifling. Because as soon as they figured this out, they turned against him. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Dave Chappelle sound familiar? I'm just saying. I mean, and they're saying this guy was like the young American dream man. They said he was tall with blue eyes and chestnut hair. He was 6'3" and had a charm. Will Hayes is now on a new role from Hollywood called The Image Doctor. He told them, y'all got to deal with, like, he has a disease. Don't shun him. Just, be patient. I'm sorry. He's very sick. Your boy spent the rest of 1922 in a padded cell. The quick withdrawal of his daily fix, and they confined him to a small cell while he was like, yo, I've been railroaded. He was right, but nobody else knew that. So this is what really happened. He was addicted to some kind of substance, but that's because they were using him to not sleep consistently. They made him film Wallace Reed racing features, The Roaring Road, What's Your Hurry, Double Speed. So while he was working in the 1920s, a gentleman was like, yo, here, try this, it'll help you with being tired and stuff like that. It'll give you energy. And he took his first whatever, and he was hooked. Toward the end, he was working on this film called Clarence. They actually had to just prop him up just to finish that scene. Why is said they never released Wally? Wally ended up unalive January 18, 1923. The rumor is that he was put to sleep. And Florence, his wife, was pissed off. But she felt like, you know what? We're going to blame everybody that got him addicted to everything. Like, where did it start? Like, she started naming names. She was naming places where all the Hollywood friends would go and start drinking. She was like, nobody could do anything with him. And then all of a sudden, y'all got him hooked on something way more. And I blame all of you guys. Check this out. This is where I call fake, because right after that, she announces her new picture, her new movie that she'll be starring called Human Wreckage. And it's about rug trafficking. She's like, I'm doing this to warn the youth in memory. Oh my God. Everybody in Hollywood, that's why when people be like, I don't trust Hollywood. Well, I see why, baby. Oh, this book is just getting cracked open. So this is only part 2. I got a lot more to go.